Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Solaris X or Solaris X Tech Know-how. If you like more tips and tutorials, hit the notification button, hit subscribe for further useful videos on tech and tutorials. And today I'm going to explain on how to create your your perfect gaming PC. What you need to know is this is for people that don't know how to make gaming PCs. What you need to know is what game you want to build it for, and will the specs match the motherboard's requirements. Okay, first things first, what we want to do is go online. All these things will be down in the description below. Any links will be in the description below. So all these useful links will be there. So you want to go to Game Debate, and it'll be right by here, gamedebate.com. And now you want to check what specs this certain game has. So let's say we want to build one for Cyberpunk 2077. In the search bar at the top, with the red symbol right by here, type in Cyberpunk 2077. Then you press enter, and here will give you information on the requirement specs, if you want to build it, if you want to see the full rig report. But we are looking at the system requirements, so we're going to manually find the best requirement for the game Cyberpunk. Click the system requirement tool, and over here you got your minimum and recommended specs. So whether you want to go through the minimum, saving you some money on the side, or if you want the recommended specs. Okay, now we're going to add another tab, bring tab across, and we're going to split the tabs in two so you could see your specs. And also we're going to find a motherboard that matches those specs. Like we need Windows 10 64-bit, we need at least a i7 4790 or AMD Ryzen 3 at 3200 gigs. Graphics AMD Radeon RX 590 8GB or NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060. You need a video RAM of 6GB, RAM of 12GB, and storage hard drive space at least 70GB. So now we're going to look on eBay. So we're looking at eBay for a recommended specs for your Cyberpunk. So we're looking at a motherboard now. That's the first ever thing we ever look for, is the motherboard that will fit this specs. I usually go for MSI gaming motherboards because they're very good motherboards to go for, really high performance. Yeah, so MSI gaming motherboard. So, and also click a new link here. If you want MSI, you go to the MSI site as well. So you can do like a cross comparison thing. So here's your MSI. So we are looking at products, motherboards, gaming motherboards. depending on what you want, doing a Mac series, a MPG series, or a Mac series. So let's say we're going for the Mac series. There's loads of motherboards here. Look at one that you particularly fancy. This one looks pretty decent. So we click on this. We are looking at now its specs. So if you look at specifications, so this one, now we need to match the specs of this motherboard with the specs of the game. So socket LG A2066, chipset Intel. So we got Intel Core i7. So now we need to check out which I call can be used. Series processor DDR4. So let's try for another one. Let's have a look at this one. Specifications. So really, it's matching the motherboard with your gaming specs. CPU max support i9. And this here needs an i7. Socket 1200. Z490 chipset. DDR memory. So that's the system RAM, 12GB RAM. Max RAM 128, so that meets up with that. 12GB RAM, yes, you can have that. VRAM. VRAM comes with the graphics card, so we want to have a look at the graphics card. Operating system, Crossfire, audio, USB. Right. We should be able to fit the graphics card in there, but we are looking at an AMD Radeon or a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060. So what we want to look at now, if we do NVIDIA GeForce 1060 on eBay as a recommended specs, copy that into here. With a video RAM of at least 6GB, which here we go. This top one here is compatible. If you're on 6GB VRAM, you can have these things here which are compatible with 6GB. System memory 12GB RAM and storage 70GB hard drive. So basically you make sure you get at least 1TB to fit all your games needs. And with the specifications, requirements, this is perfect for running Cyberpunk 2077, Cyberpunk 2077 with recommended specs and recommended hardware. As you can see, first check your motherboard. If your motherboard can handle it, then check the specifications and cross comparison it with the specs requirements. So let's have a look at the different set of motherboards. MSI products, motherboards, gaming motherboards, mag series. As you would know, all these different series would have different specs, so you really got to think carefully on what you're looking for, what CPU you are looking for, and what specs you want to compare with. So we go here now, the Mag series on MSI. Let's check out this one here. Go to specifications. CPU i9 max support. And this only needs an i7, so that is fine. DDR4 memory, 12GB RAM. So we can put the memory on there. But how much memory does it need? 12GB. What's the most you can have? 64. So yes, this is good for the RAM. Storage, you can look online for terabyte or 2TB or whatever. VRAM 6GB. This one, NVIDIA GeForce GT 1060 or AMD Radeon RX. So that's that. So you can put whatever graphics card you want on this for it to run. Let's check out AMD Radeon RX 58GB. This is compatible. This is good good price for the Gigabyte AMD Radeon RX 590, RX 590 a gigabyte. So this is it. This is a great one to go for Cyberpunk. Or you can use this one for Cyberpunk. So first things you need to know is what specs a game has with Game Debate. Second bit you need to look out for is look out for the VRAM and look out for how much RAM a certain motherboard uses, the CPU um if it's compatible, all these things you got to take in detail, and you got to check out, cross compare the game with the motherboard specs, and then if you want to get that motherboard, let's say Mag Z390 Tomahawk. How much does it cost here? The load. Alright, 150 quid for the Tomahawk on overclockers on eBay. Let's see if we can cut down the price. You can get it for about 100 quid. pre-owned. So you are saving 50 quid if you buy it on eBay. The exact same motherboard. Let's have a look at Amazon. Give me 2 secs. Let's check out this price comparison. This one is 180 quid. So your best bet is to get it from eBay at 100 quid. Although it's a pre-owned one, it should still work. And then you want to work around your stuff. So let's say 100 quid for that. Then you want to look at maximum i9 chipset Z390. So Intel i9. This one here you can get for 280 quid. Or if you want to go for the i7, making it a bit cheaper for you. Got 56 quid pre-owned, 38 quid. You can get it quite cheap. This one is 38 quid. Or if you want a Ryzen, but this motherboard doesn't allow Ryzen. So basically, you might want to check out a different motherboard which has Ryzen Ryzen chipset. But that's basically it. All you do is like cross comparison with the game specs that you want. Let's say if we search for another game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We got Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition here or Original Edition. If we want to go to the Definitive Edition, this needs at least 10 Windows 10 64-bit processor, Intel i7 3.4 GHz or AMD Ryzen 5, memory 16 GB, graphics card NVIDIA GTX 1060 or AMD RX 488 GB VRAM. This needs DirectX version 12 and 40 GB hard drive space. But if you don't go for the minimum specs, it's all there. All this will be down in the description below. And happy comparing your system specs and what you want to what game you want. I hope this helps. And this is how to build your first system with the game specs of a certain game. Number one, what you need to consider is video RAM, graphics card, gigabytes. How many gigabytes you need? You need to consider what slot your motherboard takes, whether it's an Intel or a AMD chipset, the type of memory, whether it's DDR4 or DDR3, or DDR5. Uh, you need to know the maximum memory of the motherboard, the video RAM. Is all sorts to look into. But with the power supply unit, I would highly recommend fully modular. You can go for Corsair RM 750. ROG is a good one to go for, but I highly recommend where are they to EVGA. This is the ones I highly recommend. 1000 wattage. Grade 2s. This is the ones I highly recommend. Works brilliantly. And the wattage is brilliant. And yeah, that's how to build your first computer by cross comparing your motherboard speculations to the game's specs that you require. So in a system, you need a motherboard, graphics card, RAM, whether it's 1632, depending on what it needs. Obviously, you need a hard drive. I would recommend 2 terabytes or something like that, and maybe get yourself a solid state drive. That's to install your Windows on. What else do you need? CPU, Central Processing Unit. The motherboard, and a base unit. And try and get a motherboard that's not a micro one. So there we are. Sorry that I'm finding it difficult to explain things. I'm not the best at explaining things, but I hope this was visually visually understanding enough for you. So you want an ATX tower or an ATX motherboard. So ATX. There you go. Have a look at ones that may look good. Oh, this is named ATX. You want an ATX one. And if you look down here, you can see some specifications here as well. Socket AM4, so that's a DDR4 socket. AMD, ATX. But to list the full specifications on a certain motherboard, again, you look at the official website for it. Like you want to go to Gigabyte. And you want to search for this one here, Gigabyte ATX AMD AM4 CPUs. So let's have a look at this comparison. motherboard. Here's your motherboard according to this here. So this should be the same motherboard. And here's your comparison thing right by there. Support list. This is what supports the AMD, whatever. That's it basically. I hope this helps. I'm just dragging on the video a bit now. So I'll see you next time. And enjoy. And happy creating. Good luck with creating your first system. All the best. Take care.